Hello. Okay. I know I said, if you saw my Instagram stories yesterday, that I was going to go live at noon. But here's the deal. um, I'm away for about 5 days, and this was a planned friends trip. And then my husband had a work trip come up. So we ended up having to figure out what to do with our kids because he was going while I was coming home. And then I didn't get home until almost 11:30. And so my kids were up very late. And yesterday they were fine-ish. And today my little one is a mess. He just is, it's catching up with him. He is so tired. So we had tears before summer school even started, at least once, maybe twice, potentially even more. And I just decided that instead of risking doing it when they were home, I was gonna go live while they were at summer school. So I apologize if you were hoping to join me at noon and now you're seeing this as a replay. Leave me questions if you have questions, and I'll get to them. So this is just a kind of an update. Here's how this came to be. I had a blah blah black sheep planned for this week, and traveling didn't go as planned, and it was meant to be a pattern review, and the pattern did not go as planned. So we're just going to talk about a few things. The first thing we're going to talk about is my trip. I have a group of crochet girlfriends that it's a big group of friends, but at least some of us try to get together once a year. And this year we went to Portland. It was wonderful and amazing. It rained most of the time, but that was okay because Amber of Amber Bliss This and Nicole of Threads. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name, her handle, but my good friend Nicole saw the rain coming and planned some crafts. So let's talk about those crafts because they were so much fun. Okay. The first thing I'm going to show you is the biggest one because then I'm going to get it out of the way physically so that I can show you my other stuff. I'm being weird because I have a webcam set up here because the camera on my computer, which I can see myself on over here, is terrible. So I apologize if I keep looking back and forth. This is my first craft. It is a, we're calling them mandalas. It started kind of like if you ever did at camp when you were little, a God's Eye. There are these dowels, and then you wrap yarn in different ways. We found tutorials that showed us that there are so many cool ways that you can wrap, more so than just like the little simple ones I had learned as a kid. Here was my feelings on this. I don't like how this turned out. When I saw this variegated yarn in the cake, I saw all of the pinks and not and the greens and teals and not as much of these like orangey colors. And then as I got going, it had a lot of that orange in it, which orange is probably one of my least favorite colors. And if I'm going to use it, I really like a really specific color of orange. But while I don't love the finished result of it, doing it was a lot of fun. So I may make another one in the future. We'll see. But highly recommend. This would be a great way to use up scraps. If you have some scrap yarn laying around. Who doesn't have scrap yarn laying around? And this would also maybe be good with some older kids. They could have I could see my youngest, especially who's 10, having a really good time with this. So that was so much fun, even though I'm not thrilled with how my end result turned out. I also am not talented at this. If you look carefully, you can see my sticks didn't end up the same distance. Like, look at how big that distance is and how small that distance is. And it was fun. That's the point. All right. Another craft that we did that I've been wanting to try for forever, and then this was just like a great excuse to give it a go, was embroidery. I have a couple embroidery like patterns that I've ordered off of various places. And I've just been too scared to do them because I don't want to mess them up, which I've realized is like the dumbest thing ever, because what happens if you mess it up? You tear it out, maybe you start again. It's not the end of the world. So Amber brought these tiny little hoops, and she had these iron-on patterns that you just ironed it onto the fabric, and then a bunch of embroidery floss. And so I just practiced. It's I changed things up as I went. I tried certain things. Some of them looked really great. Like I was very impressed by my very first French knots. I was less impressed by my attempt at filling in those flowers. But then I did this that I thought was better. So it was a lot of fun. It's given me some confidence to dive into my projects that I have that are more complicated. Now, the craft that I fell in love with was that Amber brought shrinky dinks. You guys, I've done so many shrinky dinks with my kids, but never done them for myself. So the plan was Amber had these punches and, markers and everything that you need to do to draw on them, and like a little hole punch and these little, oh gosh, stitch markery, clippy things. Let's see, focus on the stitch marker. So that's backwards. So I made a whole bunch with hook letters on them, so that if I'm working on a project and I, need to take my hook out to work on a different project, that I could do that. I made some with just, it's trying to focus on my face, with just bright, fun colors on them. It's so fun because you make them bigger and then they shrink down and they look super complicated and delicate when you didn't have to draw it that small to begin with. Then she had these cloud stitch, this cloud punch, and I made a whole bunch of these little clouds. And I even made numbers. So I made some. Well, that's not helpful. I made some with numbers on them so that I can count rows, count stitches, all of that fun stuff. It was so much fun. I may have gone a little overboard, and I think I made 43 of them. But so much fun. When we got to Portland immediately, so we didn't stay in Portland proper. Amber's parents have a house in a town by the ocean, which is lovely. And so the first day we went to some yarn shops in Portland, and then we went to her parents' house and enjoyed some time out by the ocean. But the first day, I'm looking up names because I'm terrible with names. The first day we went to 2 yarn shops, and they were fantastic. Pardon Weston if you can hear him. He's over on the floor. So we went to A Good Yarn, and I'm going to look for some pictures here because this place was fabulous. The owner was lovely and wonderful, and it was just the most unique yarn shop I had ever been in. So let's see if I can find a picture here. Okay. Sorry, Nicole. This is Nicole and I being silly. But can you see those shelves behind us? All of those cones are different yarns, and she had a whole bunch of different fiber content. She had cashmere and linen and cotton and wool and silk. So much gorgeousness, stuff with sequins in it, and they were all very, very fine weight. But then she had some that she had made, or you could make your own, where you would combine several of them to make a whole new unique yarn. And she would wind it onto cones for you so that then you could make something out of this whole new unique yarn that you created. Oh my gosh, it was so, so cool. And then, so that one was called, I don't think we have any pictures of the other yarn shop. We were all getting tired by the second yarn shop. So that one was called A Good Yarn. Next, we went to Naughty Lamb. This was very much your classic yarn shop, but it was gorgeous. They had so much beautiful yarn. They had kind of your classic yarn shop yarn, some Barocco, some Malabrigo, but then they had lots of really great hand dyers. The shop owner has their own line, and I got 3 skeins of yarn. The last time, I don't remember what I did in Chicago last summer, but the last time we went to Portland, oh my goodness, is life so hard? The poor baby. The last time we went to Portland, I got a lot of yarn, and I haven't even used most of it. So this time I was like, I'm going to be more judicious about the yarn I purchase. And 2, I only packed a carry-on bag. I didn't check a bag, so my space was limited. So this is what I got. I am so excited about them. This is Life in the Long Grass. It is 100% superwash merino. It is a sport weight. I'm also proud of myself for not buying a fingering weight, because that's typically what I do. And I have so much. Did you hear that? I have so much fingering weight yarn. So these are sport weight. It is 328 yards per 100 grams. And then I just want to show you this skein. Look at that. Do you see the little speckles in there? Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. And it has these deep red speckles in it, like a deep maroon. Deep maroon. And then, so I got 2 of those, and then this is my Papa color. You know, this is like my favorite color of purple. I absolutely love this. But it has some of that deep red and some rusty kind of tones in it that I think, are going to be really nice. Kind of an unexpected combination here. So I'm super excited about that. We ate lots of lovely food. We walked on the beach the one day that it was not pouring rain. We listened to the rain a whole bunch, but the most important thing, and the reason we get together, hey, come here, is that we got to talk a lot. You know, these are online friends, so none of us see each other in person, hardly ever. And when you get together and just be together for a long time, you really get to go deep with your conversations. So it was so lovely. So lovely. So, let me talk about my projects. So I took 3 projects with me. One I'm noticing I don't have here, so I'm not going to show you. It's a pattern for September anyway, so you'll see it down the road a little bit. That was like my work project that I took with me. But then I took 2 fun projects that are like, you know, just for me. And the first one was the flow top. If you've been watching my Blah Blah Black Sheeps, I did, you know, summer tops that you should try. And I told you how obsessed I am with this. I swatched before I left. It was lovely and perfect. And so then I started it on the airplane. So here's how far I've gotten. I spent a lot of time when we were actually in Portland working on my work project, which I made good progress on and I'm feeling good about. Hey. Oh my goodness. Now you're going to be fussy. Okay. So I'm going to tell you real quick about my top that isn't, though it is. So I had Hobie sent me this yarn last late summer, and I was going to make a top. I changed my mind on that top. I picked a different top, and I finished it, and I tried it on for the ladies, and they were like, which I knew was them being nice, because it's not perfect. And by not perfect, I mean it's like not great. So here's the finished top, and it doesn't look not great, except for when I put it on, it looks good from the front, but the back is super baggy. It's just way too wide. So I had a great discussion with my friend Michelle of Tales of Knots, who is a garment fit specialist for curvy girls, and she gave me some tips on what she thinks might help make this fit a little better. So what I need to do is I need to take the top apart. I added these little extenders on it, which I like because I don't want it too close to my neck. And it's worked side to side. So what I'm going to need to do is, that's the door, bud. I'm going to need to take, I think I'm going to take a section of the lace repeat out on the front and the back, which should shorten the whole circumference by, I'm going to say at least 8 inches, which I think will be good. So I don't think there's no hope for this. When I tried it on and they were like, I was like, throw it in the trash. I'm so upset by this. But having taken a little space, I think I'm going to tear it out, and I'm going to, like, it's not going to be that much work to make it fit better. Dude, come here. So that's my plan. It is the Key Largo top by Brianna K Designs. I will do a pattern review. I want to do, you just sat on my projects. I want to do a full pattern review because I want to tell you my ups and downs, to give you hints if this is a top you want to do. And I want to, share who I think this would be good for and who I think it's not for, yada, yada, yada. So the last thing I want to show you is, while I was gone, I got a yarn delivery. If you're on my email list, you saw that We Crochet had a big yarn sale. I don't buy a ton of yarn from them anymore because I really like to support local yarn shops. But I had seen this tank top. This tank top by Sandra Gutierrez, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to make that. I had, of course, you know how this goes. I had nothing in my stash that would work for it. It's almost a lace weight yarn that she uses to make this, a very, very light fingering. And I just didn't have anything in that weight category that wasn't mohair, but you can't make this whole thing out of mohair. So this is the, let me see if I can get the name. The Fiamma tank by Sandra Gutierrez. I will find links. That won't happen immediately, but I will find links to the yarn shops that I've talked about, the yarn that I've talked about, and I'll put the Fiamma tank in there so that you don't have to hunt those down. They'll be in the description once this is done. So this is the yarn that I got for the tank top. I think it's going to be super pretty. It's really soft. This is Volviere, a lace weight by it says Knit Picks. This is the colorway Rose Finch. It's like a twist of a deep purpley rosy color and a white, which is what gives it kind of that texture that you're seeing there. And it kind of softens the color of the pink a little bit, but if you are like in person or closer up, you can see that pink's pretty bold, which is nice. It is 274 yards per 50 grams. So we're talking, over 500 yards per 100 grams, which turns out to be perfect for the tank top that I want to make, the Fiamma tank. So it is 40% linen, 30% mulberry silk, 30% baby alpaca. I'm very excited. I should definitely finish my other 2 tees before I start my tank top. I also have my own work projects I have to do. Not enough time in the day. Oh my gosh. I want to do all the things. So there you have it. I have no idea how long I've talked. I hope you found some of this interesting. If you have questions about anything below, let me know. The puppy's getting fussy. It's going to be time to pick the kids up from school before I know it. So lovely having you here with me and chatting. I hope you are able to find a summer project you love. Got lots of suggestions, so go back and look at that stuff. And look at my previous videos, that stuff. And I'm definitely taking next week off unless I by some miracle really like power through the Key Largo top, and I'm so thrilled with it. I can't wait to share. But then I'll see you in a couple weeks. Until then, happy crafting, friends. Alrighty. Yes, end the stream.